We're live
When we live, we here.
in living color. Hey,
Oh,
everybody. So, we
I
don't have
look
any
dark.
music for you today because we are just jumping on because today it's Monday. And so, you know how they always have like Man Crush Monday, or now we've been doing like the Mom Crush Monday. Shout out to Patty Jackson. I was on her podcast, Patty and the Millennials, a couple weeks ago, and without prompting, like it just came out of nowhere, she shared her story about her experience as a mom. The
Mm.
good, the bad, the ugly, the blessings and the losses. And we were just talking about like advice you would give your younger self. So shout out to her. She was our Mom Crush Monday for earlier today. But we also want to talk about myths. So happy New Year, everybody. I think this is our first time seeing you on Coco Bump for the new year, but it is Myth Monday. So today we are going to bust some myths, crack some code, talk about some things that as moms, as dads, as parents, whatever, you are told when you are starting out in this experience. And then all of a sudden you're like, that really doesn't work. Or maybe it does work. I don't know. But I'm here with a Coco mom, Anika Tiller from Writings on the Wall. You already know. Coke CBT Coco Mom T. What's up,
I know I
y'all?
meant to put all my titles on there.
Right. No, we're good. How y'all doing? Happy New Year.
Happy New
Happy
Year
New
to you.
Year.
Okay, so I'm gonna
And,
start with
and
you, Anika.
I want
What
to
is
talk
a
about our
myth?
locks too, real quick. We got our cute locks. Let us
Right. Come
wave
on.
them.
Lock queens
Let us wave
matter.
it. Right,
Lock
Yes,
lock.
3
queens.
years, 3 years.
Eh,
Right.
there
We
you
Yeah,
got
go.
three.
got
Right.
my cowl shells.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you doing real good. I'm still rocking my same headband. This is my edge. This is my edge control. Now this is my edge control.
I know.
Hi, bro. Hello, all the way down to Georgia to Brian Robinson. So
Hey.
good to see him. I miss him. He was from my church up here in E9, but when we can get back out again, we coming to Atlanta. We got some stuff to see.
And
So
food to eat. Wait, no, is
yeah,
that
and some
separate?
food to eat.
Yeah.
Some food to eat. So
In
Anika,
Atlanta.
what's a myth or some myth that you heard? Give us
Okay,
one.
I've heard two.
Okay.
First one was that you should not try to make every environment super quiet for your baby to go to sleep.
Oh yeah, I heard that too.
Me too.
Listen, I found that honestly, not that you have. So for me, I think it's true, and more true. Not that you purposely, try to create sounds, but don't hush people up in the room and say, no, get out, the baby's sleeping. Because guess what? That means when you're in meetings, when the
Yeah.
child has to be babysat by someone, when they're in
Yeah.
they are not going to be in quiet spaces. So they have to
Right.
learn how to adapt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
My
let me
grandmother
ask this
told
question. Oh, go ahead, T. Go ahead.
I would say my grandmother told me to keep a TV or a radio on when I
Listen,
had
Yeah.
Lonnie. And I'm with you, Anika. I think that's true because that child could sleep through anything now. The
I
world
do
could be
I do
ending.
have to agree
Yeah.
with you because with Camille, so here's the funny part. With Camille, I was like, yeah, because I knew I was gonna need help, right? So I knew she had to be able to go over people's houses
Right.
and
Because ain't
whatnot,
nobody gonna watch
but
no
she
spoiled
need to be
baby.
able to, yeah. So I would keep a TV on or a radio or the white noise or something. But for what happens when you just need to sleep and this baby finally went to sleep? What do you say to the moms who are like, and I was also told never wake a sleeping baby? What do you say? What do you say to them? How do you balance it?
You start
like,
early.
yeah.
Start early. When that baby first come out at that hospital, you cut that TV on and you don't be shushing people when they coming in there. You had your loud conversations on the phone. Lonnie learned how to sleep early, honey. I was on the phone. We laughing and taking pictures, passing her around, baby. We're not doing no quiet baby because they say don't nobody want to watch no crying baby all the time.
Yeah.
And so, shoot, if Camille came down my house, she better be used to sleeping through something because
Yeah. Sleeping through, drinking Kool-Aid. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
all
Listen,
that, right.
Nah.
Right. Water only. That's water only at your house.
I'm from New York City, and when my son's 12 now, but when he was smaller, we rode the train every day, 3, 4 trains, and I could not have him crying on the train
Oh
because
yeah.
like he had to know how to sleep. on that train. Yeah, and he absolutely did. And in the New York City train, it is very noisy.
Right. Well, I can imagine. So what was your other myth that you have? Everybody who's tuning in, it's Myth Monday. We starting something different. I don't know if it's different. I haven't heard it before. Anyway, it's Myth Monday. So it was funny yesterday. New Coco mom, Whitney Elise, put up a post, and I typed back to her comments. I was like, this is so funny because we're gonna talk about this tomorrow. But she put up a post that said one of the myths she was told is to sleep when the baby is sleeping, and she was like, lies from. She was like, when am I supposed to? And I'm like, because one, you be sleeping all day because they sleep all day. Two, when are you supposed to eat, take a shower, or something? So it's a balance that you have to, you have to try to get. But what was another T for you? What's a myth that you heard about? We come back to you, Anika. I know you had a second one.
That you're not supposed to drive with your light on inside your car, and that's supposed to be against the law, and it's not.
Right. I thought we were talking about babies.
Oh. So maybe when you feeding the baby, when you feed the baby with the light on, you can keep the light on.
Okay, but no. Okay, here's the thing. So let's talk about parents as you're driving with kids in the car, okay? Because with MJ in the car, so y'all know he is not a car baby. Well, right. I don't know what he is actually, but he's definitely not a car baby. He cries when he's in the car, except when the DVD is on or the light is on. But I would always be like, cut the light off. You got to cut the light off because it's illegal to drive with the light on. Now, granted, if it's distracting you and creating a glare on the road, then no, turn the light off. Right. But so what you're saying, T, is not illegal? Is that in every state? I think we got to check that.
It's not illegal. Our grandparents started that lie because they didn't want us to have them lights on. Because they didn't want the police to see in the car because none of us was in seatbelts. That's really what it came from. I think the grandparents started that lie because they didn't want the police to be coming over there to find out why 13 kids is sitting on the floor with no seatbelts, no chairs, or nothing.
Okay. That's a good point, though. Now, we definitely coming back to the mom myths, but that's a good point about these myths that the elders, the previous generation told us, like, don't talk on the phone when it's lightning outside.
Cut your lights off.
Turn the TV off, turn the lights off. Don't put your pocketbook on the floor. I can't figure out
whether I'm supposed to leave my car running when I'm pumping gas or not. Or be on my cell phone.
I turn mine off because I'm scared it's going to blow up.
Yeah.
See, but I
don't know if that's a myth or not. I don't want to test that one.
I cut mine on the other day because it was too cold. It was too cold to cut that car off. And so I had to leave mine running at the pump, but I just prayed to God. And as you see, won't he will? Won't he will? He gave out some gas blessings.
Okay. Gas blessings. We like that. All right, Anika, what's your other mom myth? It's Monday. It's Myth Monday. We busting myths. We cracking codes. We getting tips and suggestions. But what's another myth that you heard?
Okay, so another myth, and before we close, I have a tip. But another myth was, it's a good tip.
Okay.
I was going to say something else. I'm going to leave it alone.
That's why I spoke over you. If you put your baby's hair before they are 2 years old, they are going to have a stutter.
What? Now,
say that again?
Right, I thought it was one. But I didn't hear about no stutter.
Before they're 2, you will give them a stutter.
Wow. I ain't heard that one.
I never heard that.
I did hear they're not supposed to get their hair cut until they 1, but I thought that was just because of the way the hair grew in.
Me too.
But the stutter part, I ain't heard that one, Anika.
Super ludicrous, right? But it actually before you shouldn't do it before they're 4 because the sweet spot doesn't fully grow in until about 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So I knew it was a while. I thought it was 5, but 4 makes sense too. I heard that you're not supposed to like cut their hair, and things like that, and be very gentle with them because it is still a sensitive, soft area.
Okay. So now we gotta talk, right? Because in certain communities they may be able to use scissors to cut their children's hair, and because they use scissors, they can cut it sooner. But in the Black community, we use, and even in the Latinx community, they use clippers, and the it should not go over the sore spot, it's still their skull, their head is still, you can still mold it.
Yeah.
I know. We got that 4C. Some of us got that C texture. You need the clippers.
You need the clippers. You got to go to work.
Right. Then they look like a little baby porcupine.
T, do you have any other mom myths? Any other myths that came up, whether it was when Lonnie was a baby or even as you have journeyed into adolescence? Like, is there any
I
myths?
got one, but I think it's gonna shake some feathers.
What's up?
That a little boy is not supposed to cry because it makes him weak. And when little boys fall, you're not supposed to pet them. You're not supposed to baby them. You're not supposed to say ouch. They're supposed to get right on up. Here, boy, shake it off. And
I have heard
soft.
that.
Yes. Yeah, he's soft if he's crying. You soften him up. Don't pat him up. And that's really just teaching the boy how to grow up without being. I got another. I'll leave it alone. But yeah, that was my thing.
I think you know what, that deserves another like conversation about.
Because I'm going to, there's a video on YouTube and I'm going to put the link in the box, the chat box, because this video is, you hear the repetition of don't cry, man up, boys don't cry, showing different ages of men. So young boys to men, and then they're speaking about their experiences and
what's the name of that, Anika?
I'm looking for it right now. The statement.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Forcing them not to cry. One, socially, we have feminized emotions.
Yeah.
Feeling and experiencing is not only a woman's thing, right? It's a human thing. God has
it's a human.
It's human. So I firmly believe that the jails are filled with men that there were times where they needed
were denied.
Right? It's denied. And I think what happens is, okay, so we're going to be real. If your man sheds a tear, too many women, because socially how we were raised, too many women will try to punk him and say, "Stand up, stop crying." So I know,
and tell their friends, Right.
So I know someone that did that, and her husband. Well, at the time he was a boyfriend. He expressed himself. It didn't take away from his masculinity, from his role. So now, 2 years down the line. Me tell you, that man he don't show too much emotion. He don't let a tear shed. And I told her, let me tell you something. He took a chance in being vulnerable and expecting you and hoping for you to be his safe space. And when he took that chance and you created a hostile environment, you shut that man down, right? Like for women, we will continuously, we will take the chance on love. We'll take the chance on expressing ourselves, on being vulnerable. But men won't oftentimes take that because the toxic masculinity around what makes a man.
Yeah, and that starts early. It starts early with them being groomed. So like
you just said.
Yeah. And I think, like you were saying, this is a deeper conversation. Like I got some buddies that are boy moms, like you, Anika. Like I would love to hear from some boy moms of, really, what does that raising look like? Because you guys are raising the next generation of men. And so, listen, what do that group look like?
What does that look like? So I'll tell you, it looks for me, it looks the same as it would for my daughter. So when my son, if he fell and he cried, I would go safe and he calmed down, right? But I would do that with my daughter too. What I realized as he's growing, when he cried, I would tell him, listen, it's okay to cry. Whether he just skinned his knee, you heard it. If somebody teased him, I validated and I normalized how he was feeling. And then I would tell him, listen, mommy wants to help you. But in order to do that, mommy has to understand what's important for you. So share with me, right? So I never made him feel like it wasn't okay to cry, but I also empowered him to express himself so that it wouldn't just be crying. And I would do that for my daughter too. So I think it's universal.
Right. Well, and I think what we're saying here is that we need to make sure that we create a safe space. And in this 2021, with everything that happened through 2020, I think it's time out for all these old traditions, all these myths that have led to nothing but us as a community, especially a Black community, hiding our emotions and not being truthful with it. So like we said, we're just jumping on to talk about some myths. So why don't you guys message us, DM us if you have some myths that you want us to talk about, or if you have some Coco Mom nominations that you want to make. As always, it's a true pleasure. But we'll be seeing y'all on again soon. So Chat with y'all later. Thanks, ladies.
I have a tip. Can I give a tip?
Oh, yes, your tip. Go ahead with your tip.
So my tip is, oftentimes they tell us, make sure you if your baby is crying, you always have to attend to them, cradle them, make sure you help them work it out. To every new mom out there, please extend yourself some grace. If you know that your child is not sick, you've checked on them, their pamper is not wet, they are fed, they are not in pain, and they are bawling tears because they just want to be picked up, please extend yourself some grace. If you have to close the door, take a deep breath, let out your own tears, the baby making you cry, take that moment to cry, take that moment to readjust, and then go back to the baby. Oftentimes, a lot of shaken baby syndrome has been a result of parents simply going, oh my gosh, just stop. Please give yourself the time to stop, to step away, to ask for help. If no one is present in the home at the moment, please identify your village and call someone and let them know you need a moment to decompress and to recompose yourself.
That's a beautiful tip. Perfect tip. So true. I have to do it with MJ quite often because he's a crier. So yeah, it works. And you just got to step away. They fine. Don't worry about it.
My buddy like that.
I know I was gonna say, but him so cute.
That's because y'all get to hang up.
Brown cow.
Leave. Bye. Go to your
peace, love, and hair grease, right?
Well, to our Facebook community, thank you again for tuning in. Anika, thanks for that wonderful tip. Again, for those who may have just popped on for a minute, it's Monday. We were doing some myth busting Monday. We talked about a couple of myths, particularly for those who are just tuning in. We talked about the myth around, should you keep a quiet space for a new baby? And the answer is no, because if you keep it quiet, then if you start it quiet, you got to keep it quiet. And the reality is life goes on. Cars. You may definitely want to check with your Department of Motor Vehicles and police. However, it seems like it may not be illegal to drive with the light on in the car. So if you got a non-carish baby like I do, who likes to have the light on when you drive and it's not creating a glare, you might be all right. Another myth that we talked about is, especially pertaining to boys, is it's not okay for boys to cry. You'll make them soft. You got to make them man up. We have all agreed that we are definitely going to have an extensive conversation, a greater conversation around that, because I think that definitely, we know that is plaguing our community. It's hurting our men. It's breaking down our fathers, which in turn are breaking down our family structure, which in turn is putting us in a lot of these positions that we're in. But we can take back a lot of that. And then we had an amazing tip from Anika with Writings on the Wall about extending grace to yourself, moms. If that baby is okay, that baby's fed, it's changed, it's not hurt, put them safely in the crib, of course, with nothing around, no bumpers, no blankets, nothing like that.
Right, all of that.
Step away, close the door. If you need to cry. You want to sit there together next to the crib, cry. Go right ahead. And like Anika was saying, many cases of shaken baby syndrome stem from an exhausted parent, an overwhelmed parent, and a parent who just didn't have anything else to do. And like we always say, we put a lot of pressure on kids, right? You got to have emotional intelligence and do this. Well, when you're sleep deprived, you're hungry, you're irritated too, even as an adult,
right?
You can absolutely go to a physical response as well. Not that we're not condoning it. So that's why we're saying be safe. Let's be safe so that we're not sorry.
And can I get one more tip?
Yes. Not sorry. That's good.
Safe, not sorry.
Well, that was a good one. Say that. Write that down, Anika.
And the other thing is for the village. Like if you guys already know that you are in this COVID-free bubble with folks, that bubble needs to reach out and help you with your newborn so that you aren't getting frustrated because you're exhausted. Because we all know new moms are exhausted. Absolutely. And so if you are already in this COVID-free kind of bubble of people that you hang around, those people need to reach out and come over so you can take a little quick nap, so you can go to the bathroom without rushing, so you can eat and chew. and actually digest your own
Right.
food. So listen, village folks, we got to step up and do something different. We got to do better.
I love
We,
that. That's definitely a word. As you can see, this is the space that we created where we want to be helpful. We want to be intentional. This is a community. So again, if you have myths that you want us to bust or want to talk about, message, DM us, email us. If you want to nominate a Coco, a Mom Crush Monday for our Mondays, please DM us or email us too. But
yeah.
everybody enjoy your evening. Happy New Year again to those who tuned in, and we'll check in with y'all again soon. See
All
y'all.
right. Peace, love, and hair.